Tonight's true story comes from Vicky, and it's called The Night We Almost Woke the Dead. Growing up around Chattanooga, you learn pretty quickly that our history runs deep, and so do our traditions. But there's one night from my youth I will never forget. It was back when my dad passed away. In those days, things were a little different. When someone passed, the family didn't just leave them at the funeral home overnight. It was tradition to stay late or even spend the night right there with your deceased loved one so they weren't left alone. Now, I can attest to this. I've actually been to a few of these where we sit with the dead, is what we call it, sitting with the dead. Anyway, my mama was up at the funeral home staying with Daddy, so my cousin came over to spend the night with me. We were completely alone in this massive old two-story house. If you've ever been in a big old house right after a death, you know the atmosphere. The walls themselves just feel heavy and creeped out. Late that night, my cousin and I were sharing the bed, just trying to get some sleep and block out the quiet. Suddenly, out of the dead silence, we heard it. Creak, creak. It was coming directly from Daddy's bedroom. Now, I don't even know how to fully explain what happened next, but the moment we sat up straight in that bed, our bodies took on a mind of their own. Every single time that floorboard made a beat, creak, creak, our necks and heads jerked perfectly in time with it, turning towards his door like a couple of startled old banty roosters. The fear hit us so hard it turned into an absolute fistfight. We weren't trying to investigate. We were fighting over who was going to get out the back door first. By the time we hit the yard, our legs were completely outrunning our bodies, just trying to get to the safety of the car. Mama and my aunt came home right around the time we heard it, and bless them, they didn't discredit us. But after a scare like that, the absolute last place we wanted to go the next night was the funeral home. But it was tradition, so we had no choice. The next night, several of us cousins were bundled up together on the couches in the funeral home, packed tight for safety. Around midnight, the room was dead silent, dark and heavy. Tap, tap, tap. A sudden sharp knock hit the funeral home window right next to us. We lost our absolute minds. It was total chaos, kids screaming, crying, and falling all over each other in the dark. It is a miracle from God we didn't wake the dead or fall headfirst right into my daddy's casket. As we were scrambling in a panic, we looked up at the glass. There was my other aunt outside. She had ducked down low out of sight, popped her head into the window, and was just standing there laughing her head off at us. It was terrifying, but honestly, it broke the heavy silence in that room when we needed it most. To this day, we never did figure out what that creaking noise was in the old two-story house the night before. Time has passed now. Most of the people from that night are gone, and I'm the one left telling the story. But that is one funeral we will definitely never forget, dead or alive. We could have woke the dead that night with all that hollering. Now, that was a great story, Vicky. Thank you for sending it. And that's been Jay's Haunted Appalachia for tonight. Keep sending me those stories and those suggestions, guys. And keep Appalachia haunted, y'all.